Today we're going back to the basics on learning how to fill and frost a cake. And I've made millions of cakes. I'm here to tell you all my secrets. So without further ado, let's get started. First things first, we have our cakes. These are 8-inch cakes I'm using today, but any size cake works. It's still the same process. It's important. Do not skip this step. Number 1. Your cakes have to be frozen. It will not dry out your cake. It will keep it super moist as long as your cake's moist. Like, I can't work magic now. You plastic wrap them while they're warm and throw them in the freezer. Working with frozen cakes is so much easier. I can throw them around. They will not break on you. You're also gonna need some buttercream, of course. Look at this luscious buttercream. Oh. Stay to the end of the video too, and I'll give you some tips on the perfect buttercream and how to get super white. I'm also gonna fill it with some strawberries. You could use any fruit, you could do pudding, anything your heart desires. You're gonna need an offset spatula. The only difference is it kind of has like the angle down as opposed to a butter knife. Also gonna need a bench scraper. It's gonna help us get the sharp edges that we're looking for. Last but not least, you're gonna need a serrated knife. And that's all the tools. You don't need a lot, and I promise you you're gonna be a pro in just seconds. First is grab your cake board. Any cake board will do. And you're gonna take your offset spatula and dollop a small amount of buttercream. Filling really varies on whatever you're doing. I suggest starting off with buttercream if you're a beginner. Boop! I like a generous amount, so let's do 2 scoops. Boop! You have to do the little audio. Boop! Offset spatula with your pointer finger here, and you're gonna go like back and forth. Just back and forth, very gently. And all you're gonna wanna do is get low and make sure it's nice and even. It's perfectly straight. You're gonna take your fruit and you're just gonna sprinkle it all in. And that's it. That's our first layer. Now, my cakes, you can see, are pretty level. But let's say your cakes weren't level. Take your serrated knife and you would just go across. Very slow. You're barely putting pressure. You're really struggling to do this technique. Since your cake's frozen, what you can do is do it like a bagel. Okay? Go like this and just go down. Now what we're gonna do is put our next cake on top. I like to do a little jump, and you just wanna push down. The benefit of buttercream is when you put buttercream in the fridge, it solidifies. So all you're gonna do is swipe up. Let's say you wanna use the custard, you wanna use that evil, delicious filling. You're gonna grab a piping bag. I like to put my hand through it and bend it over, just like that. Now you have a cup. You're gonna put your buttercream in the piping bag. Do not skip this step. It has to be buttercream too, or ganache. Now, you're gonna pipe a buttercream dam. It's a dam, a border, that protects anything from falling out. So, all I do is pipe along the perimeter. I like to do a thick one because I like a lot of filling. So we're gonna do 2 layers. To secure the wall, all we're gonna do is take our offset spatula and go down. This is just gonna help keep everything in place, protect anything from oozing out. It just can't go anywhere. I have pudding today, so I'm just gonna pretend this was pudding. So all you would do is take it and you would put it in the middle. Don't overfill it. You just wanna keep it level with the wall you built, or if anything, put it lower than the wall you built. And now I'm gonna add some fruit. And that's how you would fill a cake if you had pudding or any soft filling. So this is the back, this is the front, the top. You're gonna flip it, and now it's perfectly straight. And look at that. We don't have a leaning tower of Pisa, have any filling oozing out. It's beautiful. Now we're gonna crumb coat a cake. And a crumb coat just means a thin layer of frosting along the outside. It's important to crumb coat so you don't get crumbs in your final ice. Taking a little bit of buttercream, just going around the whole cake. Your crumb coat doesn't have to be beautiful. It's okay if you still see some cake showing through. You just want a very thin layer everywhere. And this is our crumb coat. It's not perfect, it's not beautiful, but that's okay. What you're gonna do now is put it in the fridge for about 15 minutes until you can touch it and no buttercream comes off. So you can see your cake to touch, nothing comes off. That means it's cold enough. Now you're gonna take your buttercream, big old block, boop. The secret to getting a super clean, sharp edge buttercream cake is to use a generous amount of buttercream. When you're skimpy, it's so much harder to get a sharp edge. Take one hand that spins the turntable, this hand does not move. And you're literally just going back and forth. Notice how my one hand's not moving, the turntable's doing all the work. We're gonna work on the sides. I grab some buttercream on the back of my spatula and put it on. I like to go back and forth once or twice. Grab more buttercream, put it on. Back and forth once or twice. Now that our cake is completely covered, what I like to do is take your offset spatula, just go up, and doing this, make sure the buttercream's nice and even. Grab your bench scraper. I like to hold the bench scraper with 4 fingers in the back and my thumb in the front. The most important thing is to keep it straight and angled to you. Now all you're gonna do is keep the same position and go all around the cake. I'm not putting a lot of pressure. Now we're gonna have some excess. It's important that you scrape off the excess. You can also see that we have a lot of these gaps and holes. All you're gonna do is fill it in with more buttercream. What you're gonna do is keep spinning and filling in the holes until you have a smooth cake. I mean. And give yourself a little pat on the back. Work on the top edge. Get low, and you're just gonna swipe in. You wanna keep it super straight. Swipe in. Do you see that edge? Start low, swipe in. You have to keep it super straight. Swipe in. Now I like to clean up my cake, so I'm gonna do smooth up the top one more time. Mic drop. That's how you make a super smooth buttercream cake. It's ready for decorations. If you wanted to, you could throw colored icing on top of this and repeat the whole process once again. Once you can do this, you can do anything. As promised, here's a couple buttercream tips if you're struggling with making the perfect buttercream. Number 1, if you want your buttercream to be super, super white, add a touch of purple food coloring. The purple food coloring counteracts the yellow in the butter, creating a whiter buttercream. Number 2, use super, super soft butter. If you use cold butter, the buttercream would be very thick and hard to use. If you're impatient like me, you can throw it in the microwave like for 20 seconds or so. Just keep an eye on it so it's not completely melted. Number 3, and the final buttercream tip. I always, always, always make sure to mix my buttercream on high for about 7 to 10 minutes and then on low for about 10 minutes. Mixing the buttercream so much and on low helps remove the air bubbles and creates a smooth, glossy finish. If you're still struggling with your buttercream, even with these tips, I do have a recipe on our website that you guys could purchase. It would change your life. You'll get results like these. That's all I'm saying. Stay tuned for the next video, and if you love this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. I'm gonna show you guys how to make a drip cake very soon. We ate.